Okay. Rose Mcgowan bothers the shit out of me. There, I said it. Look, let me just start it off like this. Nothing is funny about rape, especially rape to a human being. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Nothing's funny about fucking rape, okay? Rape jokes can be funny sometimes, though. I'm sorry, they can later on. Not directed at anybody specifically, but they can be. But, so, I did not believe, and I have to confess something first. I did not really believe that Rose Mcgowan was raped by Harvey Weinstein at first. There were too many things to me that was just like, huh? Like, she posed for a picture with him on the red carpet well after she claimed she was raped by Harvey Weinstein. I had a real hard time wrapping my head around the fact that she was posing with this guy who violently raped her, who she hated so much. But then somebody did make a very good point that got through to me. Hey, Internet, Eric here, subscriber of mine. Check him out. He's good. Just as bitter as I am. And he said, you know what? She addressed that, and she said that, you know, she caught him on the red carpet. He didn't want to put her in this movie like Grindhouse, but he's like, okay, fine, fuck it. The director really campaigned for her. She goes up, surprises him, puts her arm around him, and gets a pose just to make him really uncomfortable. Okay, I can kind of see that. And after seeing several interviews with Rose Mcgowan, I believe something really, really traumatic happened to her with that man. I firmly believe it. I mean, he had fucking hit people following her and shit. It's all documented in fact. That doesn't mean she still can't be crazy. And oh my God, the crazy is a coming, and I'm partly afraid of her and I partly love it. All right, so she was been interviewed on shows and all this for her new book. Well, first of all, let me just say now, these are just observations. I'm treading lightly here because of what's happened to her. She looks like a peacock. She looks like a nervous pigeon now with that weird, she's got like haircut like mine, and her eyes are always really, really done like around here. Like she's got the mascara going. She always had that Cupid doll, wide-eyed stare like this, and now it's just creepier and it's sinister and she's pissed and she's always got the lips pouting out and she scares me. So, she kind of bounces out onto all these talk shows now. You ever notice that? Watch her come out on any talk show. She went on Stephen Colbert last night. We'll get to that in a second. She just kind of bounces out like, you, sexual assault, I'm part of a movement. And she just kind of hops and skips, and it's like, okay, girl, whatever. And first thing she did that was kind of irking me was she's calling out everybody under the sun, like, Ben Affleck, how could you possibly say I didn't tell you about my rape, Ben Affleck? Fuck you, Ben Affleck. Fuck you, okay? Justin Timberlake, how dare you let your wife wear a black dress in solidarity of the Me Too movement, which is truly Rose Mcgowan's Rose Army Movement trademark. Book's coming out soon and a TV show. How dare you? And then say she's hot while you're promoting the Me Too movement? He can't say his wife is hot in a dress while promoting a really, really good cause? Okay, that sounds kind of like you're sipping a little bit of the crazy cafe, but that's all right. You do what you gotta do, girl. And she really went after, Meryl Streep and everybody else. Oh, they're all hypocrites and stuff. Not that they're not. But I have to point out one thing that has never been explained to my fucking satisfaction with this chick. She worked with Victor Salva on Rosewood Lane. If you don't know who Victor Salva is, he's a hideous child rapist. He raped the boy when the boy was like 10. It was in a movie, he was working on a movie called Clown House. I'm not in Hollywood. I fucking knew about it. I knew about it when the Jeepers Creepers thing came out. I can understand if this was pre-internet days, but she worked on this guy's film. She was asked about his transgressions during the making of this movie. And her quote, not verbatim, but her quote was, and I remember the last part, she's like, well, I don't really know much about it, but the last sentence really got to me. But it's not my business. Aren't you calling out everybody and their mother for saying or doing pretty much the same thing, saying something is not their business or looking the other way when you yourself looked the other way? This guy was working at the time. You even said he was a hard worker and a nice guy. And he possibly could still be fucking kids. We don't know. He's not in jail. There might be some other victims that come out later. Okay, back to the funny shit with her, because I'm just going to get aggravated. But that's one thing that really irks me about her. Honey, you can't be part of a fucking movement if you're part of the problem. I'm sorry. And what's happened to you is disgraceful, and the guy should be fucking, Harvey Weinstein, his face should be fucking thrown into a goddamn blender while a black guy fucks him up the ass relentlessly while he's dying, while he's twitching. Just really give him a good fucking, like, just split that motherfucker open. I firmly believe that shit. But you can't just come out there and then ignore the fact that you defended a child rapist and said it's not your business. Sorry. But here's where it gets good with her. So she's being interviewed. This is an interview, I think, on the Today Show or something like that. She's been interviewed by some dead-eyed Asian chick who's kind of like drowsing off. I don't even know who this reporter is. She's horrible. So Rose, Alyssa Milano. She was your co-star on Charmed. Already, Rose is tweaking. Rose is sitting there like, and she's doing this new thing now, like she's like Maya Angelou, or she's super enlightened, and it just, I don't know, I notice it. She's just like, It's like, and she has gotten a lot of credit for championing the Me Too movement. And then she waits for, she didn't even ask a question. The reporter is so bad at her job, she didn't even ask a question. She just goes, and then Rose McGowan goes, so? And then she's like, are you proud of her or anything? I don't like her. This whole dramatic facial gestures the whole time, it's just weird. And the girl's like, why? She's like, I think she's a lie. You think she's a lie? Like, so Alyssa Milano doesn't exist? Like her whole existence is a lie? Is she a hologram? What the fuck does that mean she's a lie? And then she goes on, she does explain, like, her husband works with CAA. He's a CIA agent. She doesn't know. She's not complicit. No. Not crazy. Not crazy. But and she'll occasionally smile at the camera. She's, you know, and after he raped me, I was really upset about it. She does that shit. Watch it. I'm not lying. It's like, I expect her to start making bunny ears next or some shit like that. But then the funniest part is she goes on The View, and she's talking about the Me Too movement and her own movement and movements, and bowel movements and flatulence and whatever. She's talking about, you know, really good shit. And she does this thing that just cracked me up. I'm sorry. She takes herself way too fucking seriously at this point. She's like, she comes out all the time like she's, you know, a black chick, you know, from the 70s. Like, thank you. Thank you. I know. For me. Give me more. For me. She does that shit, but then she did this where they were asking her some question, and she said something, you know, incendiary or supposed to be shocking. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. And she does this thing, she's like, I'm sorry. She actually said this. She goes, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It is gray outside today. I didn't make it so. What the fuck is that? I want to do that. I want to go out to my store today, you know, and be like, you know, like, hey, do you have Debbie Does Dallas Part 5? It is not in today. I didn't make it so. You know, just so I could be like, what the fuck is he on? Like, seriously, she's doing that type of shit. And then she was on Stephen Colbert, like last night or night before, and oh my God, I'm sure if you piss tested her, she would piss test for pure 100% crazy at this point. I didn't understand barely anything she said on Stephen Colbert. First of all, she got in like, you know, like a Indian sitting position. She's wearing a hoodie, and she's like, why don't you wear a hoodie? Why doesn't everybody wear a fucking hoodie? I love to wear hoodies. God, Harvey Weinstein's a warcod monster. I can't stand him. Why don't you wear a hoodie? There's too many suits around here. One time I was trying to go to my brother's graduation, and they wouldn't let me go, and they saw I had a John Kerry pin, because back then I was all into John Kerry, and they're like, no, you can't go in there. And I can't believe it. You should wear a suit. Gaslighting, it's a real thing. Oh my God, gaslighting is a real thing. It's happening, people. I'm just so sorry. I expected her, I was afraid. I thought she was going to bite Stephen Colbert's face and just like, you fucking owe me. You all owe me. And just fucking rip it off. There's going to be blood spewing down her face. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not like she's never done anything crazy before. Remember back in the days of Marilyn Manson? Remember that shit? I'm not saying dating him was crazy, but it wasn't exactly sane. I mean, it wasn't like he was even a hot rocker. I would have gotten it then. What the fuck's appealing about that dude back then, especially? He looked like a fucking creature out of a Rob Zombie movie, and she thinks that was attractive. That shows you something's wrong. But I can't fault her because she grew up in a cult. She had a really shit upbringing, all right? The girl has been through hell and back. But just this whole cadence that she has now, this very like serious and shit-starting like cadence, I'm just like, again, you are complicit too, to an extent. So why are you calling out everybody? Why don't you admit what you knew? And the one thing I don't buy about her, and I don't believe, is her explanation for the Victor Salva thing. She just came out again, and she changed her story this time. She said somebody was running down the street on the set of Rosewood Lane going, pedophile, pedophile, pedophile. And she's like, hey, what's that about? What's that guy saying, pedophile? And they're like, oh, he just wanted to be in the movie. And she's like, oh, no, bummer, okay. I believe that. You would believe that? I wouldn't believe that. And yes, I know people have to work and stuff, but ask me if I would work for a fucking pedophile once I found out. It could have been my first fucking movie ever, and I guarantee you, if they said, yeah, we gotta tell you something. Why is that guy running down the street saying pedophile, pedophile? Oh, he fucked a kid a long time ago. Excuse me? He fucked a kid a long time ago. Oh, where is he so I can tell him I quit, and should I kick him in the balls first or after? And then, you know, tell him I quit. What the? No, you don't take money from a motherfucker like that, because that makes you complicit. Part of the problem. But yeah, she's a little bad shit. she's always been a little bad shit, but now she's just buying in her own bullshit way too much. But you know what? I'm glad she's calling some people out. It is starting a conversation, so she is doing something good. But you know what? I gotta go.